All right, let's go through this number line integer review. And like I said, this is one of those things where if you don't know how to do this real quick, in 8th grade, you are absolutely going to fall behind, okay? This is one of the most important things, not just in 8th grade math, but in any math class that you take in your life, which is going to be a few of them. So if you weren't here yesterday, this will be a great kind of reintroduction or introduction to this, okay? So a couple things. If we have a plus sign, we're going to move to the right on our number line. If we have a minus sign, we're going to move to the left. We'll see what that means in a second. And if we have a plus next to a minus, when they're right next to each other, kind of like we see here in number 3 or in number 4, a plus next to a minus gives me one big old minus sign. But if we have a minus next to a minus, that's going to give me a plus. Okay, so if we have different signs, that's negative. If we have the same sign, that's positive. All right, now let's figure out how to do this. This first number here, like we said, is our starting point. And this will be a good review even if you weren't here yesterday, or even if you were here yesterday, sorry. So starting point, positive 4. We find positive 4, we make our starting point. Boom, just like that. Now this right here tells me my direction. The sign in between tells me which direction I'm moving. If it's a plus, we're going to be moving to the right. Okay, so we're going to be going to the right. How many spaces? That's what our second number represents, the number of spaces that we move. So we start at 4. Plus tells me I'm going to the right. 4 more spaces. Let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. We land right here at positive 8. And that makes sense. We should all know, hopefully, that 4 plus 4 is 8. But on the number line, following this process, that's how we would figure that out. Number 2, my starting point is at negative 4. So I'm going to start right here. I'm adding, so I'm going to go again to the right. How many spaces this time? 4 spaces to the right. 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. I end right there at 0. So negative 4 plus 4 gives me 0. Now here's another, here's one of those where we have two signs. We've got a positive next to a negative. As we know, different signs are negative. All right? You can think of it like you want to go to McDonald's, your friend wants to go to, I don't know, Chipotle. You guys can't decide on which restaurant to go to. That is a negative thing. So you can think of it like that. That's how I usually think about it. So a plus next to a minus makes a minus. So we're going to turn these two signs into one big minus sign. My starting point is at negative 4. Minus tells me I'm going now to the left. How many spaces to the left? 5 spaces to the left. So we count that out too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We land right there at negative 9. All right? Same thing here in number 4. We got a positive next to a negative. That's going to make one big negative. My starting point is going to be at positive 4, which is right here. That big negative tells me I'm going to go to the left once again. Going to the left. How many spaces to the left? 7 of them. That's what my second number tells me. So I just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces to the left. Negative 3 is my landing spot. So that's my answer. 4 plus negative 7 leaves me with negative 3. We got another one with a plus next to a minus. I'm going to start at positive 1. Plus and a minus makes one big minus, which takes me to the left. 5 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. And my landing spot is my answer, negative 4. Over to number 6. Thank you. Over to number 6, I start at -3. That's where I make my first dot. Another plus next to a minus makes one big minus. That big minus tells me I'm going to the left 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I land at -7. Moving down to number 7. I'm going to start at -8. Plus tells me I'm going to the right 2 spaces. 1, 2. And I end up at -6. For number 8, I start at -6. That plus sign tells me I'm going to the right 10 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. +4 is my landing spot. For number 9, plus next to a minus makes one big minus. Start at -3. Minus means we're going to the left 7 total spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we land at -10. Number 10, I start at 5, right there. Plus right next to a minus gives me one big minus, taking me to the left 2 spaces. And I land at +3. Last 4, starting at -5, adding to the right 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. +1's my answer. For number 12, I start at 8. I'm adding a negative. Plus and a minus makes one big minus, which takes me to the left just 2 spaces. And we end up at 6. So the more we do this, the clearer it's going to get, the more comfortable and confident that we're going to get, the quicker we can do it. Another plus next to a minus makes one big minus. I'm going to start at -5. Minus takes me to the left 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. My landing spot is my answer, -9. And finally, I'm starting at -9, right there. I'm adding, which means I'm going to the right, 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Landing at -2, and there's my answer. So the key things to remember, your first number is your starting point. A plus in the middle takes me to the right. A minus in the middle takes me to the left. If I have a plus next to a minus, that's a minus, which brings me left. And we didn't see any of them here, but if I had a minus next to a minus, those give me a plus. That would take me to the right. That second number that you're given tells you what direction, that second number that you're given tells you how many spaces you're going in that given direction. All right? Like I said, this is one of the most important things you'll need to know before moving on in your math career. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense.